that's just shocking to me that they camp out like this.
There may be no other place in America where the proximity to power and poverty
What are they going to do?
is only separated by a few city blocks.
I think it's happening in a lot of the big cities.
This sprawling encampment is expanding in Washington, D.C.'s historic McPherson Square.
Homeless people, where do you want us to go?
Sharon Brown stays here in a tent just 5 minutes from the White House.
Why not take the shelter or services being offered?
Shelters suck.
In these garbage cans.
Daniel Kingery says hunger is not the problem since multiple nonprofits drop off food almost daily.
And wouldn't it be great if one of these homeless organizations actually got a homeless guy not only a job, but a residence?
Look what's happened to this public
They
park.
have a right
To live in this public park?
I can't refuse them. Can you?
Vincent Peroni's a social worker visiting from the Boston area and says reasons for homelessness are complicated.
Some are common, like mental health or drug addiction.
Earlier this month, Dr. Robert Marbut Jr. and I went to see it all for ourselves.
They get to promote their position.
Marbut is a senior fellow at Discovery Institute and worked for 3 presidents, most recently serving as the nation's homelessness czar.
How does the White House reconcile this?
Well, the best I can tell is nobody at the White House proper is really talking about this at all.
Even though it's right in their backyard?
Right. You can see this from the White House window.
The latest data from the Department of Housing and Urban Development shows a dramatic increase in homelessness across America.
This breaks my heart.
The COVID pandemic didn't help,
This is just like normal.
but Marbut says this is primarily happening because of failed public policy called Housing First that's been in play now for nearly a decade.
We're going to give away free housing, subsidized housing, with no requirement, no treatment program. This is what you get.
However, advocates who still believe in this model argue that it's about stabilizing people through permanent housing, no strings attached.
And that's why the numbers are skyrocketing.
In response to this dire situation, Marbut and his team crafted a new report with solutions and recommendations to tackle the crisis.
This gives you sort of a guide of what we got to do now.
He believes housing is part of the answer, but says mandating treatment for mental illness and drug addiction at the same time will actually change this trajectory.
And if you link required services with housing, this really does work.
Marbut wants Congress to consider the plan and says the national media needs to scrutinize all aspects of the homeless crisis
Probably 7 years ago.
with more in-depth coverage.
What do I do in Nashville? What do I do in St. Louis? How do I solve the problem locally?
While lawmakers and journalists digest the report,
We try to keep it a little clean.
Tony Robinson and his daughter Kishana Massenberg say outreach workers regularly come to this park. That's why they're also here, hoping to connect even sooner with the right services to eventually get off the streets.
I'm not illiterate or dysfunctional or disabled or anything, but it's just, some people have misfortune events that happen.